Hey Squires, Mr. Anderson here. Today's lesson is to talk about the names of the notes on the bass clef staff. So if you play a bass clef instrument, this lesson is for you. If you play a treble clef instrument or an alto clef instrument, this is going to be very confusing and is not going to do you a whole lot of good. So bass clef instruments are cello, bass, tuba, trombone, euphonium, and bassoon. And if you play percussion, the timpani also reads on a bass clef staff, and occasionally you can find marimba music written in bass clef, but that's not a problem we have to worry about just yet in middle school. So this lesson is for those instruments. It's not for students that are routinely getting high scores on your note name tests. If you get 80, 90, 100% on a note name test, you don't need to watch this lesson again. I covered all of this in September in beginning band, and for a lot of you it stuck the first time and you guys get it. It is for students that seem to struggle with their note name test, students that get very low percentages. Either they know how to answer the notes they know how to play, but they don't know how to figure out the names of the notes that they don't know how to play, or they get very low scores like 5 or 6%, and those are students that are just guessing when they answer those questions and they really don't understand it and could use this lesson. So here's some things we need to understand. First of all, in music, we use a 7-letter alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And instead of going onward to H, when we get to G, the next note higher than a G is A. The whole alphabet starts over again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So what's higher than this G here? I said it goes on forever, so we'd go to another A and forever. What's lower than this A here? Well, lower than this A is a G. So lower than this A would be another G, and it would go forever backwards in that direction there. The next thing we need to understand is that on a staff, all of the notes can either be on lines or spaces. Here I see notes that are written on lines. The line goes directly through the middle of the note. Here I see 4 notes that are all in spaces. The note is exactly in between 2 lines in the staff. It fits in the space between them. Now you were probably told either by me or another music teacher or by your book that good boys do fine always. And you learned you could use that as a mnemonic or a trick to memorize the names of the notes that are on the lines in the bass clef staff. Good boys do fine always, G, B, D, F, A. You might also have heard all cows eat grass for the 4 notes that are on the spaces of the staff. Now these tricks work for just the notes that are in the staff, but as you can see over here, there's some notes that are much higher or much lower than the staff, and we need to know how to figure those out and not just use tricks to memorize them. One of the reasons I really don't like this trick is it makes it look like the notes skip around on a staff at random, when in fact they just come in alphabetical order, like I showed you down here. If you know they come in alphabetical order, it's really easy to figure the rest of them out. So we read in what's called bass clef on our instruments. This is a bass clef symbol here. It's also called an F clef. At some point in history, it probably looked more like the letter F. Now it looks more like an ear. We have this large dot here and these 2 small dots here that outline the 4th line of the staff. So the 4th line of a staff is the letter F because it's called the F clef. Now if I know how to find the letter F, here's another one here, I can figure out the rest of the names by going through the alphabet. If this note is an F, the space higher than F is a G. If this space is a G, the line higher than G is an A. If this line is an A, the space higher is B, the line higher is C, the space higher is D, the next line higher is E, and the next space higher is F. Now there's some of you that may get to see notes that are higher than this, but it's not very likely you'll see too many notes higher than an F in middle school band or orchestra when you're playing a bass clef instrument. Now the same thing works going backwards. This line is an F, lower than F is an E, lower than E is a D, lower than D is a C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B. If I kept on going lower, the next one would be an A. It's pretty unlikely that too many of you will see notes that are lower than this B in middle school music, but occasionally the tubas do get to go that low. Now, I'll share a PDF that has some of this information on it that you can use as a guide. And between what you've just learned in this video and what's on that guide, you should be ready to attack any assignment that I throw at you on musictheory.net or Tone Savvy that asks you to name notes on the staff. It'll also really help you when you're talking to me or talking to others about the music in a way that makes it easy to be understood. And you'll find that it makes it a lot easier for you to play the right notes if you know what they're called. So when the conductor tells you you need to play an F sharp or an E flat, you don't have to wonder which of these dots is what letter. You know what the letters are, and then it's easier to find the right note to play. That's it for now. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you all later.